She promised me forever. She said I was the only woman she had ever truly loved, and I believed her. I left my husband, my family, even my children behind. But what I didn't know was that while I was building a life with her, she was already planning to take everything from me. I never thought I would be the kind of woman who left everything behind. I had a husband, a home, 2 children, and a life that looked stable from the outside. But inside, I was crumbling. My marriage was empty. My husband barely looked at me anymore, and when he did, it was only to criticize. The house felt like a cage, not a home. And the loneliness, it was unbearable. That's when she appeared. Her name was Marissa. She came into my life through a mutual friend, and at first, I thought nothing of it. But she had this way of making me feel alive again. She listened to me, really listened, in a way my husband never had. Her laughter was contagious, her eyes electric, and when she looked at me, I felt like I was the only person in the room. It started with messages, then late-night calls, then coffee that turned into hours of talking. I told myself it was just friendship, but deep down, I knew it was more. The night she kissed me, everything changed. We were sitting in her car, parked under a streetlight, music low in the background. She reached over, brushed a strand of hair from my face, and whispered, "You deserve better. You deserve me." Then she kissed me. And in that moment, my entire world shifted. It was like someone had turned the lights back on after years of darkness. Within weeks, I had done the unthinkable. I told my husband I was leaving. I packed a bag, kissed my children goodbye, and walked out the door with Marissa's hand in mine. I told myself I was choosing love. I told myself I was choosing happiness. But what I didn't know was that I was stepping into the arms of my worst nightmare. At first, Marissa was everything I had dreamed of. She cooked for me, held me at night, told me I was beautiful. She said I was her first, her only, her forever. And I believed her. But slowly, the mask began to slip. She wanted to know where I was at all times. She didn't like me talking to my children without her present. She told me my friends were jealous, that my family would never accept us, that she was the only one who truly cared. At first it felt protective, but then I realized it was control, and by the time I noticed, it was already too late. The first red flag came when I noticed money missing. She brushed it off, said she had borrowed it to cover a bill and would pay me back. But she never did. Then came the lies. She said she was working late, but I caught glimpses of texts from numbers I didn't recognize. When I asked, she laughed, accused me of being paranoid, gaslighting. I didn't know the word then, but I felt the sting of it. The betrayal that shattered me came months later. I walked into the apartment early one evening, my heart pounding with excitement to surprise her. But when I opened the door, I froze. There she was, Marissa, sitting on the couch, her hand entwined with another woman's, laughing, whispering, kissing. I dropped the groceries I was carrying. The sound startled them, but she didn't even look guilty. She just looked at me and said, "Maybe this is what I wanted all along." I wish I could say I left then, that I walked out and never looked back, but I didn't. Because when someone has wrapped themselves so tightly around your life, it's not that simple. I begged, I cried, I pleaded for the truth, and she twisted it. "You're imagining things. You're insecure. You push people away," and I believed her. For a while, I believed her. The control grew worse. She cut me off from my family completely. She told me my children didn't need me anymore. She said I was nothing without her. And I almost believed it. Until one night, I found her secret. Hidden in her drawer was a folder, bank statements, credit cards, even my ID. She had been stealing from me, using my name, draining what little I had left. My stomach dropped. The woman I had left everything for wasn't just a cheater. She was a thief. When I confronted her, she smiled coldly and said, "Without me, you have nothing. You'll go crawling back to a family that doesn't want you. You'll be alone." But for the first time, I felt something stronger than fear. I felt anger, and that anger saved me. I packed my things, the little I had left, and walked out. She shouted after me, calling me pathetic, worthless. But I kept walking, because I realized something in that moment. She hadn't saved me. She had stolen me, and I was taking myself back. Rebuilding was the hardest thing I've ever done. Facing my children, my family, admitting what I had allowed, it nearly broke me. But step by step, I put myself back together. And now I tell this story for one reason. Because if it happened to me, it could happen to you. She promised me forever. She promised me love. But in the end, she stole everything. My money, my trust, my future. And still, I survived.